I don't know about y'all, but I'm a little bit hungry. I think I might need me a little taste. Slice it, dice it, roast it, toast it. It's time, baby. Let's do it.
My name is Father Trey Nelson. I grew up in South Louisiana, in and around the city of Baton Rouge. The most important things to me are family, family events, and faith, and of course, food. I love backpacking out west in the mountains of Colorado, but I always love coming home to the great state of Louisiana. I spent a lot of my childhood on Grand Isle, and whether it was walking along the beach or driving with my dad along the back roads of the island or hanging out with my cousins at Camp Riptide, it's a great place to be. I love the water. I love being on the water, near the water. I love the smell of salt air. I love Tiger Stadium. Go Tigers. I love soups. I love potatoes. I love stews. I love stuffing other things along with stuffing myself. I love fresh seafood. I love cooking for you and other people. I love the sunsets. I love the bayous of Bayou Lafourche. And I love coming home. This is my show, and I'm happy to cook for you.
Hey, welcome to segment 2 of Taste of Trey. I hope you enjoyed the first one. Before I go any further, I want to mention a couple of messages I received after the last show. John Brooks, John and Claudia, parishioners of ours, their daughter Amelia is graduating from the 8th grade this year. John texted me and said, hey, great show, we loved it. Keep it simple. That's what people like. And he also said, thanks for the break from all the serious stuff. So John, that's why we're doing this. We started this during the stay-at-home ordinance, because with all the serious, prayerful, whatever videos that we're doing, we thought we'd do something fun. However, it's going to be simple, but we're going to kind of go to the next level. So I just want you to get ready. Today, we give tribute to my favorite all-time TV chef, Emeril Lagasse. I met him one time. It was briefly. My nephew and I met him at a book signing over at Barnes & Noble's. It was probably almost 20 years ago, if you can believe that. I love all the others, Bobby Flay, Tyler Florence, just so many of them. They're awesome. But Emeril has been and always will be my favorite. Also, we're going to implement something different beginning with this segment. 1969 to 1971, there was a cooking show on television, and some of you will remember this if you're older, called The Galloping Gourmet. The host of The Galloping Gourmet, turning my phone down here, was a guy from England by the name of Graham Kerr. Okay? And it was called The Galloping Gourmet for two reasons. Before he did the first show, I think he made a real whirlwind speed visit to 30 different countries and just went to different restaurants. They shot some footage. But he was also called The Galloping Gourmet because every time he came onto the stage in front of a live audience, which is where it was taped, he would come running and he would leap over a piece of furniture. And sometimes he would fall and he'd be drinking wine while he was cooking. And then he went on to other things. But I remember that as a kid. And so what he would do at the end of the show was he'd go out into the audience and pick a couple of people to come in and sit down with him and eat whatever he cooked. So starting with this segment, we're going to do that. Now, there are a lot of chefs I've read about. There are a lot of chefs I've watched and listened to. But the best cook I've ever known is going to be here tonight, and that's my mom. All the basics I ever learned, I learned from her, which a lot of us can also say. So tonight, it's a tribute to Emeril, who is awesome, and to my mom. And we're going to be doing something called Chicken Del Monaco. Chicken can be really boring sometimes, but we're going to take it to another level. And I want to just say that here are some of the basic ingredients of this dish, okay? Obviously, onions, green onions, garlic, butter, salt and white pepper. But what makes this dish unique is mushrooms, which some people don't care for. I love them. The recipe calls for an assortment, but I'm just using this one particular type, okay? And also artichoke hearts. Ooh, yeah, baby. And then some white wine and some heavy cream and some chicken stock and so on. And this is not in the ingredient, in the recipe rather, but I decided to give Chicken Del Monaco one extra step up Louisiana flair by adding what I call the pearl of the Gulf. Can you see this? Shrimp. Gulf Coast Grand Isle shrimp, caught I guess about a week ago, and we're going to add those at the very end, and it's going to be wow. Now the way this happens is you take the chicken and you bread it, okay? You bread it with some flour, some egg wash, and some bread crumbs. You cook it for a little while, a little butter. You take it off, and then it goes in the oven. And while it's in the oven, you then start to make this awesome sauce on the stove in what remains, or what Emerald used to call the yum yums. Now, y'all are gonna have to get in a little closer for this because I wanna show you something. This recipe calls for 1 chicken breast per person, right? Well, there's a bit of an issue with that in that most of you probably know when you go to the store these days, chicken breasts look like they're on steroids, right? Like this is 1 chicken breast. I mean, look how big that thing is. That's huge, right? Look how thick that is. So the recipe, you could either do them whole or you could pound them. I'm kind of burnt out on the pounding thing because it just makes a lot of noise. So here's what I like to do. I like to take a knife, and you need a really sharp knife. And I use, even though it's chicken, this is from my brother-in-law Mark and my cousin Nelson, I use a fillet knife. So y'all gonna have to get in on close on this, all right? What I do, I call it a dorsal incision. First of all, I trim off like any excess fat because it's boneless and skinless, okay? And you may feel like you're wasting stuff, but you're really not. You get all that off, you check it out. Anything excess, you want to get rid of it, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut this way, okay? And it's going to be perfectly thin. It's going to cook quick. It's going to be the same effect as if you would have pounded a breast flat. I just am tired of all the pounding because it makes a lot of noise, like I said. So, but the key to this whole thing is you need a fillet knife, something, or just a really super sharp knife. You guys ready for this? Okay. All right, we're going to go like this. Just kind of come across. Doesn't take long at all. Take your time with it. Bam, there you go. Like that, 2 of them. Now you go from 1 to 2. Now, if that's not enough for 1 person, I don't know what is, all right? So now that we've done that, this is a 2-side of the kitchen segment. Now we're gonna move from this side to this side. Let's go over here. So what we're talking about now is breading chicken. Now, we just started this process, all right? This is not just for chicken, it's for veal, it's for fish, especially like catfish. When you bread, it's a 3-step process. Flour, egg wash, breadcrumbs. And here's why. You can try it without these 2. It's just not gonna adhere to the surface of the product, whatever the protein is. So you take your chicken, which I have several that I've already seasoned with my own seasoning mix. By the way, back over here for a second. This is Padres Creole seasoning, secret mix. Not really, I'll give you the recipe if you want it. Anyway, so what you do is, you can use your hand, but if you do, you're gonna end up with this gummy kind of stuff on your hand. So I use a fork. You go first through the flour, just like this. It needs to be completely and evenly coated. You have to do this, you have to do this. Then the egg wash, I've got 3 eggs and some heavy cream. You don't have to use cream, you can use milk or you can just use eggs alone. But you know me, I'm all about those heavier ingredients. So this is eggs and heavy cream, right? Right? So that one goes there. This one I've already done, okay? So you see, I'm putting on some wax paper so it doesn't stick, right? Let me show you how we do this one and then we'll take a break. If you've done this, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to learn it. It takes everything to a new level, all right? Just make sure it's evenly coated, just like this. Not too much talking tonight. We're going to talk and cook, and then we're going to sit down with my mom, my sister, my brother-in-law, and we're going to eat. We're going to eat, all right? So this one looks like it's done. All right, so we'll take it over here. We'll put him on wax paper also. We're gonna go back over here now. What I did to begin with was I seasoned both sides of the chicken with a little bit of this, you know? Now, this is not super spicy and it's not super salty, so it's gonna look like I'm putting way too much, but I'm not. I tried this out with a friend of mine the other night. He freaking loved it, all right? By the way, I got a phone call from Bishop Duca a week or so ago. He says, hey, I heard you have a cooking show. I go, yeah, we started one. He says, well, what's the first dish you did? I said, well, it was pasta carbonara. Now, Bishop Duca likes to cook and he's very Italian. He's an expert at making his own Italian sausage, by the way. Maybe we can get him on the show one time. Anyway, he says, send me the link so I can tell you if you did it right. I'm like, okay, whatever. All right, so we're going to take these guys back over here, put them in there. All right, we're going to take a break, but right now, before we do this, we're going to start something a little different. We're going to add to the show this time. First of all, remember the whole wash your hands thing, right? What we're going to do is we're going to have a little cooking trivia. Have you ever seen that show? Not if you have, called Tanked. Some of you've seen Tanked, right? These guys, they make big aquariums, custom-made aquariums. And then at the end of, when they go to commercials sometimes, they will ask trivia questions like this certain type of fish likes to live in what kind of environment, A, B, or C. So here's my trivia question for you. To my friend Terry Lowe out there, he's going to know the answer to this. Terry was the guy who first told me probably 20 to 25 years ago, you got to look at this guy Emerald. Emerald's done more than one TV show, okay? Here's the trivia question for the day. Here are some of the shows he's done. Essence of Emerald, Emerald Live, and How to Boil Water. Which of those three came first? The answer when we come back from the break.
Hello, St. Jude, and welcome back. For those of you worshiping with us at home, we welcome you and are so glad to be connected to you in that way. Come back, but come back when you're comfortable doing so. In the meantime, our staff and I have been working to create for all of us as safe and healthy a worshiping environment as possible. Surely there's parking lot work going on outside, cleaning inside, music has been prepared, but I want to introduce you to an invisible but real presence, other than God, of course, that is here with us today, and that's called Casper. And excuse me, no. For those of us who are old enough to remember, I'm not talking about that friendly little ghost. I'm talking about a system in which we've invested and installed here in church that helps to disinfect the air and all surfaces in our church 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. All made possible because of your continued stewardship of finance and your sacrifice. Let me tell you a little bit about the Casper system. Along with sanitizing procedures already in place, such as wiping down all door handles, sanitizing all restrooms, and other procedures, we will be assisted by Casper, which stands for Continuous Air and Surface Pathogen Reduction. This system assists us with a continuous air and surface disinfection process 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is done by the installation of what are called catalytic devices throughout our church's heating and cooling system. Each unit is a little over 17 inches wide, and the number necessary is determined by both the size of the church and the design of the heating and cooling system. As we all know, St. Jude is a fairly large church, so these units have been installed throughout. In our church, there are 7 units total. As you can see in this video, recorded in the west transept of our church, units are individually installed near each air handler. These were installed by the heating and air company who already oversees maintenance of all of our units at church and school. The disinfection process provided by Casper is organic and invisible, odorless and all-natural, residue-free, providing continuous air purification and disinfection of surfaces. Again, Casper aids us in our already existing cleaning and sanitizing processes. So whether we gather for Mass, retreats, or other significant moments, our goal is to create a healthy and safe environment for all of us. And again, all of this is made possible because of you and your continued financial stewardship and sacrifice.
Hey, we're back. I forgot to do the first You Make a Roux segment of this show, which basically is, the utensils and whatnot that you need. You need a good light, a good knife. Again, Casey Chapman, thank you very much, my brother. Good spoon to stir with. Again, some tongs and whatnot. And in this case, I'm going to use a fork to turn the breasts, okay? After we cook them for a little while, we're going to finish them in the oven on a pan. I always line my pans. It just makes cleaning a lot easier than if you didn't. That's just my thing. That's what I do. All right? And so what we're doing here is what I always call the fourth person of the Blessed Trinity. butter, right? A little butter and olive oil. Olive oil will keep the butter from burning, at least for a while. You want medium to high heat, all right? What we're going to do here in a second is we're going to go ahead and start putting the breast in, really the half. Remember, we cut them, kind of a dorsal cut or whatever you call it. And we're going to go ahead and start that right now. Let's take a look at this. Look at that. That's what you're looking for right there. Can you guys see that? We're going to go ahead and turn these babies. See that golden brown? Look at that. Ooh, yeah, man, that's even more perfect. All right, here we're going to turn this one. Oops. Look at that, would you? We're going to lower this fire. There we go. Now it's about, I have to look at the recipe, but I don't want to say it's maybe a couple minutes aside. I don't know. Since I halved them, they're not going to take that long to cook. And no, this is what I want to say earlier. You know, you look at all this really cool stuff over here, the mushrooms, the artichoke hearts, even if you don't like them, it's great stuff. And the shrimp, the pearl of the Gulf, as I call it, garlic. I don't know if you can really say what the star of the dish is. Like last time it was the carbonara, was the pancetta, or the smoked bacon that we used. The star of this dish, though, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not just the chicken, it's the breading. If you don't bread it properly, you're really just kind of wasting your time, okay? So I don't want to like put it all on that, but I'm kind of putting a lot of it on that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead, take these out, just like I said a while ago, and put them on a baking tray, and then go ahead and pan saute the others, and then we'll take a break, and when we come back, we're going to start building this sauce, which, as I said last time with the carbonara, is just one big mouthful of deliciousness. So we'll be right back. We're having some sides tonight. I cooked those earlier. Over here we've got some candied carrots. All I did was parboil those to where they were almost done. I added some butter, sugar, cinnamon. Perfecto. And over here we've got some whole green beans with just salt, pepper, and some garlic. After I cook these and taste them without anything, no salt, the natural flavor, I could eat them like that. By the way, so my mom is here tonight, my sister Tanya, and my brother-in-law Mark. That's where my mom lives. And we're doing a 2-camera segment. There, hey, whichever I go. There, kind of look there. And I got my nephew Michael and my nephew Matthew running cameras. In fact, why don't you guys turn real quick and take a picture of each other? Go ahead. Don't be shy. There you go. One's on the palm cam. Matthew, wave, you're on the palm cam. Michael's on the Canon cam. Give a little wave. There you go. These guys are awesome. Thank y'all for doing this. All right, so first thing we're going to do, well, not the first thing, but the next thing we're going to do, we're going to start making this sauce. It's a symphony of flavor.
I think we need to do some trivia, right?
The trivia. Okay. Emeril Lagasse. 3 of the shows he did. Essence of Emeril, Emeril Live, and How to Boil Water. Which of the 3 came first? Terry, you know the answer? How to Boil Water. That's exactly right. If I could find a clip, I'd run it, but I couldn't find one. Even Alton, what's his name? Alton Brown did a show on how to boil an egg, if you can believe that. So that was one of Emeril's first shows, if not the very first show that he did. All right, we're switching from a fork to, what is this called, Matthew? What is this called? Spoon. All right, here we go. Y'all ready to do this? Onions. Mushroom. All right. Get them all going. Can you smell that? Can you smell that? All right. And then the salt, pepper, a little bit of white pepper. Boom, bam. Remember, as Emerald would say, you can always add, but you can't take away. So do the whole sauce, do it, get it done, taste it, and you go, your brain says, maybe it needs a little more salt. If your brain says that's too much salt, well, you're out of luck. I can't help you there. You can add more liquid probably, but remember, you can always add, but you cannot take away. A little bit more olive oil might be helpful. We don't want to get all dried out in there. In a minute, I'm going to bring my brother-in-law in here because he's the real seafood guy and the real fisherman. We're recording this on Saturday, May 23rd. Monday, May 25th is obviously Memorial Day. So we take a moment to acknowledge that. And we remember those who died in service of our country. And also we pray for those who are still serving our country, especially those who are away from their families, wherever they are, but especially if they're in harm's way. We want you, men and women, to know that we remember you and we thank you. And I don't take it for granted, and I know those watching don't either. And this Sunday at Mass, we will say a special prayer for you. Boys and girls at school, when you say the pledge, you got to remember the people who made that freedom possible. Anyway, happy Memorial Day. Whatever you do, be safe. All right, so I think it's about time to go ahead and move in with the artichoke hearts. Oh, look who just stepped into the room. Y'all swing around and show. That's my brother-in-law, Mark. Swing around and show him, all right? Mark's the fisherman in the family.
It smells amazing.
Look at the camera there and say hey.
How y'all doing?
All right, so we're like 4 days apart birthday-wise.
Yeah.
So Mark, I'm adding a little surprise to this dish tonight that's not part of the recipe. Okay, and if you want to kind of watch this, unless he's in y'all's way. Is he in y'all's way? Michael, Matthew, you need him to move, he'll move. All right, so these are the artichoke hearts, which I realize you make artichoke hearts. Ew, man, they're good. Especially if they're done this way. You can get them in a jar, you can get them in a can. If you really want to get crazy, you can buy artichokes and peel them, quarter them, and steam them or boil them. And get them to this point if you want to, but I ain't got that kind of time. All right, so we've done the butter, we've done the onions, we've done the mushrooms, we've done the salt, pepper, white pepper, and now we're going to add garlic. Now remember what I said last time about garlic? Whatever amount of garlic the recipe calls for, I always add more. There you go. That's the garlic. All right, I want you to get a shot of your dad's face. Take a little whiff of that. Show me what that looks like. How that smell, I mean.
Oh.
There you go. All right. So that's going like that. All right. Is this fun or what? I'm having fun. I can't wait to eat it. All right, so that's going. And then we're going to go ahead and add our green onions. Now, I might be the only one who thinks that, but as far as vegetables and spices and seasonings go, nothing says Louisiana really like green onions. And I can't stand it when I'm watching cooking shows and they call them scallions or whatever. These are green onions, right? Or onion. Or the other one is pecan. You know, do I need to say more? I mean, that kind of stuff just really... disappoints me. All right, we're stirring, we're sauteing. This is one big saucepan of deliciousness. That's what this is. We got 3 liquids here. Chicken stock, heavy cream, and white wine. Which reminds me, the next segment I'm going to do one of my family's all-time favorite recipes. It doesn't have the chicken stock, but my mom's crab meat au gratin recipe. Next segment. Okay, so we'll go with the chicken stock. Okay. Kind of get it all together there like one big happy family, you know. Turn this up a little. Yeah, I want to get it really bothered. We want that cream and whatnot and white wine and all to reduce a little once it's done. Okay. Whew, baby. Then we're going to add the white wine. Again, I said last time, I'm not an expert in cooking, but I love to do it. I love to cook for y'all. Okay. All right. So that's going to do its thing. I'm going to go ahead and add the cream, and we'll take a quick break after I do that. Okay, we'll come back and finish this up with the pearl of the Gulf. That's the surprise. All right, everybody. We reheated the side vegetables, the candy carrots and the whole green beans. I love whole green beans. My oncologist would say, when you're eating, the greener, the better. Healthy, you know. We got some bread in the oven, which has a little bit of butter with it. A lot of butter. And we're going to go ahead and do a little lemon juice in the sauce. Okay. There we go. Keep the seeds. All right, so we've got the sauce is built. Everybody in here has tasted it. They say it tastes great. The last ingredient is the shrimp, because they're not going to take long to cook. They may very well produce a little liquid off of them. Okay. Don't beat them up. They didn't do nothing to you. Just be gentle with them. Get them into the sauce. Let them bathe in it. Okay. And then once you get them all kind of evenly distributed in the pan, as I call it. Again, I'm not the expert. It's just how I do it. Just kind of step back and let the magic happen. All right, and so what we're going to do is, after the shrimp are cooked and the sauce is ready, we'll plate it up. We're going to serve the vegetables at the table, family style. We're back on. Yeah, we're ready to plate this baby up. Bread's almost done. In my family, that's a key. We'll have this greatest meal, and someone will either forget to put the bread in or they'll burn it. Ain't gonna happen today. Parker House Road with a lot of butter. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and plate up the chicken. You don't want to drown it, right? You just want to like enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? One initial thing. Like that, one initial thing. Maybe too much food. But you know what? It's okay. Whatever you have left over, put this in an omelet, brah. There we go. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We're going to cut now, and then the next scene will be at the table. Thank you so much. Hey, y'all, we're back. We're serving. This is my brother-in-law, Mark, my sister, Tanya. All right. They don't want, show them. They can be on camera. And this is my mom, the best cook I've ever known.
Hello.
All right, here we go, y'all. First bite. I hope it's okay.
Looks amazing.
Yes.
I hope it's okay. You ought to be hoping that it's amazing. Would y'all like the carrots?
There you go.
Delicious.
I'll do myself. I love
Very
carrots,
good.
period.
Cinnamon. Yum.
Last time, one of my ladies at the office or somebody said, Father Trey wasn't taking no TV bites. No, I ain't being polite. Man.
You obviously didn't know she was watching.
Very good.
What do y'all think?
Excellent.
Excellent.
Great.
Love the mushrooms.
Nothing else to say except awesome.
Well, look, we're going to go ahead and shut it down for this segment because my cameraman needs to eat. pearl of the Gulf. What's the star of the dish? I will probably say, for me, the artichoke hearts. You know, because you rarely eat those. So look, until next time, next month. I'm sorry. This has been segment 2. Taste of Trey. Chicken Delmonico. Recipe courtesy of Chef Emerald Bam Lagasse. Remember, like I said last time, good food, good wine, family and friends is what it's all about. So until we see you again, thanks for joining us. Stay strong. Peace be with you. And on this weekend, Memorial Day, thank you to all of our servicemen and women, past and present. Thank you. We'll see you next time.